This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day you are watching this, everyone. This is Saturday Morning Mysteries, and we are your hosts. I'm Alexis.
I'm Grace.
And today we continue our journey with none other than the horror, paranormal, animated, kind of classic, might as well be, Moville Mysteries. Yes, might as well be, right. We are on episode 3 of our 8-episode arc of this wonderful paranormal cartoon, and we're loving it so far. So Grace is on deck or on board today to tell us another tale from this creepy town of Ouija Falls. From our Frankie Muniz voiced main character.
Yeah, we cannot forget that good old Frankie was our dear Momo, if you will.
Yeah, dear Momo. Oh man. Love it. If you're wondering why the hell, we assume you listened to last week's episode, but if you're wondering what we're saying and you didn't listen, go back and listen. We're basically calling our main character Momo going forward. There is no debate or argument. Just accept it.
Simply is.
It simply
is simply fact now.
Yes.
Exactly. So kind of similar, I would say, I think I kind of mentioned it towards the end or at some maybe after kind of your first story last week of how my first episode was pretty tame compared to then your episode. And now this episode yet again escalates. I think we're in an escalating pattern of this not being a children's show slowly but surely.
Every week they're like, how can we traumatize the kids a little bit more than we did last week?
Yeah, and this one, I fully am going to start this episode off with a little bit of a trigger warning because there's brief moments. We don't really totally see anything. We do see some sad stuff though for animal cruelty that happens in this show. Yes, I was in the first couple minutes, how is this a children's show? And then of course, again, in similar fashion, when the climax happens, things really escalate in different directions that, again, if I was a child watching it, would I have cried? Maybe. Possibly. We know I was weak.
You love animals. I mean, not that most people don't, but you really love animals.
I really love animals. Cruelty, it's just at the beginning, very briefly. You'll see what happens.
Oh, so you would still be crying by the end.
Okay. Yeah. Due to the escalation of this plot line, yes, in a certain scene that we will get to, small Grace would have been like, "What? No! Oh God!" So we'll get there. This is season 2, episode 5. Again, in this escalating fashion, I was like, is this why it only had 2 seasons? I think this show is more of a HBO cartoon, perhaps Adult Swim for the revival that I am now starting a petition for. That I think, based on the comments on that Frankie Muniz tweet from 2020, other people have started petitions to revive this show. So let's get one going again, because I would get on it.
All right, this is the official podcast now of reviving Moville Mysteries. So
exactly,
I'm here for it. I love the show. I would absolutely watch it. Yeah,
same. Again, especially
for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Where they can really go in on the. Yeah, I mean, they already have gone in on the horror.
They don't have to use cherry cola to give you the idea of something being blood. They can just use blood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool.
So we start with a voiceover of our dear Momo, aka Mosley, saying, "Pets. They're our friends, our companions, even members of our family. But in the master-pet relationship, people get all the power. We can pick the pets we want, but pets don't get to pick their owner. And the real unlucky ones get picked by Emil."
Oh, God. Yikes. Okay, Mosley.
he's laying it out right here and
He
now
is
that
taking it
whoever's
there.
Emil is bad news. Bad news bears.
Yes.
Even the bears are scared of Emil.
Yeah.
So, in the bad news bears. So we cut to a pet store where we meet Emil himself. He's in a
Oh.
pet store. He, ironically, this kid kind of looks like a rat. I would say like a rat or a weird
Oh.
dog. He's like got a long snout of a face. He's a human. But all of these
Oh.
children are drawn real fucking weird, and like really
Yes.
disturbingly. So he's kind of got like a longish nose mouth region going on. He's got like light
Region. That territory is a bit
territory, the
formed.
tri-state nose mouth chin
Yeah.
area, if
Instead
you
of the
will.
T-zone, the tri-state.
Yeah, that's what the T-zone was, no? He's got like light purplish blue skin. He's wearing a
Mm.
backpack, a sweatshirt. He's got like a couple like chin hairs going on. Again, another prepubescent boy. They tend to be our
Mhm.
villains, both in the show and real life. Let's be honest
Yes.
here. But he's in a pet store buying a bird, and the pet store owner
Ooh.
is explaining to Emil how to take care of the bird. You got to make sure you're feeding it multiple times a day. You
Mhm.
got to
Can
make sure
attest.
yeah, I gotta make sure you're watering it. You're a bird. You
Yeah,
have food for
exactly.
birds. Shameless plug for also your food channel. You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
You didn't
Yes,
ask
drop
for it,
that
but
in
I'm
there.
giving it to
And I'll
you.
take it.
But Emil, of course, bad kid. He's on a skateboard. He puts his helmet on, grabs that bird cage with the bird in, and wheels right out the store with this poor store owner saying, "But you forgot all the bird food."
Can I cut you
So,
off real quick? Sorry.
yes.
Is his name Emil?
Yes.
Okay. It's so funny because before I thought I was tying it to a meal, like that you eat. So when you said that Momo was talking about an animal being a meal before, and then you're like, and we see a meal in the pet
Oh,
store. So I
I
was like,
thought we saw
oh
like a
God,
dead
that's so
animal.
neat. Yeah. I was like, wow, I've never referred to animals in a pet store as a meal. I was like, are we just gonna skip over that? I didn't realize his name was a meal. Okay. So much is cleared up now. Sorry, keep going.
I will say they do, which makes this even funnier. Like, they don't even quite pronounce it like Emil. It's like they like add a weird
Meal.
extra vowel in it, but I was like, you mean a meal? I'm
A
calling this kid a
meal.
meal.
Certainly you mean a meal.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Well,
certainly
that's
you're
what we're calling
wrong.
him.
So yes,
Yeah.
it's like
Writers
a
and voice
mill
actors
or
of the
something.
show.
Yeah, and I was like, you mean a meal? You guys say it sometimes like that.
Yes.
So we cut to Emil's house where he is in the bathroom in the process of what you do when you have a dead fish, pouring a guppy down the toilet.
Oh God.
We're going to pause
Watch
real
out for
quick.
boas.
And a boa jumps Jaws
Jumps out.
style.
Eats the
It's a
goldfish. Yeah.
meal.
Eats a meal. A meal
A
becomes
meal
a
of a
meal.
meal. A
Yeah.
meal. So, as a total side story, because in this little section here, we're gonna have a couple of side stories just to break up the horribleness of what's actually happening in
Oh
this
no.
part of the
Yeah.
story. So, a fun
Okay.
story from my life, which is my freshman year of college,
Oh,
when
never mind.
oh no, not fishy, my immortal goldfish. No, no,
Okay.
no.
Yes. Fishy.
The
Oh, a
infamous.
real
It lived for
one.
many,
Yeah.
many years. But no, my freshman year of college, in your college dorm, the RAs are like, let's do cute bonding activities. And so one of those activities was you and your roommate get to decorate a little fishbowl, and everyone got a goldfish. The whole floor did it. It was, a Tuesday night or something like that. By Thursday morning, a mass funeral ensued because the RAs didn't treat the water that they were putting the fish in. So it was just all tap water. and all
Oh
of the fish died.
no.
It was fish genocide, and the trauma
Fish.
bonding and war crimes bonded all of us together.
The RA war crimes. Oh my God. We're calling the
So,
ICJ.
yeah, on those innocent little RAs and
Wow.
us
How
lackeys for this
equally
genocide.
funny
Fucking
and
horrible.
like low-key traumatizing. I
Yes,
mean, they're goldfish. Like literally every person in America has had a goldfish that has died, except for Grace. This was the first time Grace had a goldfish that died. She was like,
truly.
what the
What do I
hell?
do?
You didn't even, yeah, like I didn't think that they did die,
Oh yeah, he's just
actually.
sleeping, right?
Yeah,
For
right?
context,
Upside down,
everyone, my
right?
fish Fishy lived for
Tell all
such a
about
long
fishy, please.
time growing up that literally when friends would watch the house, they would be scared that Fishy would die on their watch, like Alexis,
AKA
who
me.
had to experience that multiple times when I was like, you
I
can
was
feed
more
my fish, right?
concerned about Grace's goldfish than about the entire family's dog. I
Exactly.
was
Like
like,
we were
Riley
fine.
will be fine,
You figured it out.
probably. Fishy, though, I would
Fishy,
literally just stand in your
please don't
room
die. Please don't
watching
die.
Fishy, like
Please don't
miss
die.
class. Like, no, I can't go to class today. Sorry, I have to watch this
I have to
fish.
make sure he's okay at all times.
How long did Fishy live? Because it's got to be a Guinness Book of World Records or something.
Yeah,
Like,
that fish
it's
was well over a decade old.
yeah, for a goldfish.
Yes.
Like, I need everyone to understand this. Like, you
Yes.
say it so nonchalantly. Grace
Yes.
had a
This fish
goldfish for
wouldn't
more than
fucking
10
die.
years, the same fish.
Yes.
And like, we're sure it's the same fish. Your parents
Yes.
didn't like sneak this thing out.
No, yeah, my parents did
Fishy
not
was
sneak
like
it.
more than a decade old.
My parents were also terrified of killing this fish. Like it was
Yes.
like I think this fish what is the quote of like would you rather be loved or feared? Fishy was feared. That is how
What?
Fishy
By
fueled his
everyone.
power to
Yes.
survive was pure fear that everybody had around this fish of accidentally killing it somehow. Yeah, I had him for well over a decade. That was a
Yeah.
long ass living goldfish.
And
So,
again, if you all are confused, we're not just saying like the fish lived 10 years. Grace named this fish Fishy.
yeah,
This
yeah.
fish
I got him in
named
second
Fishy
grade.
for more than a day.
His name was Fishy.
Second grade. There you go. See? And then
Yeah,
yeah.
like,
So and I mean she had
elementary
it as
school
you had it as
zone.
long as we were in high school.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I think he
second
died when I
grade
was in
to
college.
12th grade, that's 10 years right there.
Yeah,
And then yeah,
exactly. 10 plus.
that's
So,
crazy.
yeah,
So
Fishy
anyway,
was probably
I
also
brag on
possessed.
you about that all the time, probably. But I brag on you about that all the time when people tell me about like fish or goldfish. It comes
You're
up in
like, huh,
conversation more than you would
cute.
think. I'd be like, oh, I have a friend that had a fish for like 12 years.
Yeah,
A
and
goldfish,
again,
mind
call my
you.
parents. They will confirm they did not
Yeah,
just replace this fish
I
over
believe
and
them
over
because you're right. They
again.
were afraid too. They would
Yeah,
be way
everybody
more
was.
chill if they were like, oh yeah, it dies, we'll get a new one. They're like, no, Grace will
Exactly.
know if we change
Exactly. Like
it.
we will know she'll
Yeah.
never look at us the same again. No one
Yeah.
would. So, yeah, again,
Anyways,
like you said at the start, like people love animals. I love animals.
yes.
Me and Fishy, we go way
Love.
back. So, anyways, back to someone who did not love their fish, Emil.
Yes.
As we see, the toilet lid is open, the water in this fishbowl is like brown and murky and nasty. And in this moment, he's starting to pour the water into the toilet. His mom, Emil's mom, bursts into the door and starts yelling at him about what did she tell him about treating animals with respect. And she
Mm.
yanks the fishbowl away, and we see that the guppy in there is still alive and totally
Mm.
fine. So
Okay.
Emil was just gonna dump this fish down the toilet and flush him,
Yeah, like a
I guess.
live one. What the
Yep, alive
hell?
and well. Like he was like cowering in the, it's not a corner because it's a fishbowl, but in the bottom,
Yeah.
terrified, clearly not wanting
Aw.
to be dumped. And so Emil takes it back and is like, "Oh, gee, Mom, I thought he was dead too. Boy, oh boy, what a relief." And of course, is lying through his teeth. He looks
Yes.
pretty mad about it. And
Hmm.
his mom at this point scolds him for not taking care of his pets. And he's like, "But mom, a guppy is so lame. Like, can I just have a cooler pet and then I'll take care of it?" Which, like, it's not how it works, sir.
No.
And
Yeah.
his mom sees through this bullshit. She's like, basically says like, fuck no. You got to learn how to take care of this guppy before I let you have something more complicated. And if you
Yeah,
don't want the
literally.
responsibility, then find a new home for your pets that's not the sewer. Basically, take care of them, give them away. No pets for you in that case, or learn to take care of them. Then maybe you can get something that's not a fish, which you clearly can't handle the responsibility of.
Right, exactly. What makes you think a dog would be any better or like a
Right?
I guess I'm assuming he wants a dog, but yeah,
Yeah, you're just
anything.
gonna.
Literally, a
You wanted
goldfish
like
is the
some.
easiest thing to take care of, but also the
You
easiest
wanted
thing to
some
kill.
like crazy rare reptile of some
Of
sorts, and yeah,
course,
his mom was
yeah.
like, "No,
No,
we're
because
gonna
mom's like,
murder this
no, I'm
fish."
gonna be the one taking care of
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
exactly. That's just gonna bite. And you want a kimono dragon? I don't think
right.
so.
You want to peel its skin every time it's shedding? You want to do that? Peel its little
I
eye boogers? Oh God.
yeah, nasty. Um, so Emil brings the guppy back to his nasty ass teenage room. There's laundry, there's old food sitting out. It's all like you can tell it's smelly. There's gym bags open, and there's tons of cages filled with various little animals.
Oh my gosh. Oh
Yeah, so
no.
he like doesn't just have a goldfish. He has multiple animals. We
Like,
see him.
Mom, I want a new pet. You have a new pet at home. Go to your
Yeah,
room and get
yeah,
one of your pets.
yeah. You have like 10 pets in here and you want a new one, you're about to murder
Yeah.
this, the literally the easiest one possible.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
what else
we
does he
see,
have?
yeah, so we see some of these pets. We see him look in a cage where there are two chinchillas. And this
Oh,
child says, maybe I should dump you two fuzzballs in the sewer too while I'm at it.
mm, man.
So let's pause for another side note. Do you remember in high school meeting Morgan's chinchillas
Yes.
when we watched
Yes. Oh
Hotel
my God.
Rwanda?
Yeah. I forgot we were in that same project group. Yeah.
So a
Oh
girl
my
I went
God,
to
I've
high
literally
school
been
with.
in love with chinchillas ever since. They are the softest things on this planet, which is
Yes.
crazy. All right, so Grace and I are clearly going to have a bunch of flashback moments during this episode.
Again, we're breaking up this horrible part of the
We have
episode.
to. Yes, someone we went to high school with, literally, in addition to just having an amazingly beautiful house,
Yeah, it was
she just so
literally with
happened
like a
a full
helicopter pad.
screen,
This
a
was like a
helicopter pad,
rich
like a
ass
full
fucking kid.
screen, a full screen
Movie
movie
theater.
theater, like a full movie
Yes.
theater, not just like, oh, a few reclining chairs, like
No,
no,
like
actual like three
stacked
rows of movie
seats.
seats, yeah, and a massive
Yes.
projector screen, a whole horse farm in her backyard because she rode
Yes.
horses.
Yep.
Yeah, and then casually two pet chinchillas that she kept in her
Yes.
room that were
They
adorable
were
and so
so cute.
soft and
Also,
so
chinchillas
happy.
bathe themselves in volcanic ash, I'm pretty sure. Just a fun little fact. That's how they stay so fuzzy.
Knowing this girl we went to school with, her family probably had volcanic ash shipped
Shipped it
into.
from whatever freshest volcano like just
Yeah.
erupted.
Yeah, like
Um,
Icelandic or something, not even the closer
yeah, like the black
volcanoes.
ash.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least I'm like 99% sure that's chinchillas, but I had to fact check. I just remembered that
Probably.
fact right now.
Probably,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, her like movie theater was so legit that literally 'cause we had to watch Hotel Rwanda for class. This
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
just like
that's the other
a
thing. People
fun
are like, did they
girly
just say
afternoon.
Hotel Rwanda?
This wasn't just like a
Yay, high
sleepover
school seniors, let's get
eating
together.
like
Movie night, Hotel
Skittles.
Rwanda.
But literally, her house was so big and the movie theater was so elaborate that you remember she went and took a shower like during the movie because she had seen it before and came back in and we didn't notice.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah, I remember her like coming back in with wet hair and I was like, what? And she was like,
What? Why
I've
did she
already
come?
seen it. Like, I just went and showered.
She was the realest person ever, too.
I
Swear
fucking
to
loved
God,
her.
she was so awesome. But that's so funny. Yeah, because again, legitimate movie theater in her
Yeah.
basement, like pitch black. All the
Yes.
lights are out, surround sound. So yeah, like
Yes.
I didn't see or hear her leave or come back
Yeah.
in. This is news to me. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, because I was just like, wow, you're so rich. Was like my
Oh, it
reaction to
must be
that.
nice. Yeah.
It was just like that
You're,
information.
ooh, wow,
Yeah.
must
But
be
anyway, so she had
nice.
two chinchillas and they were so
Yeah.
fucking cute and we got to go play with them.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Great.
So
Great times. Wait, what class was that for? What class were we
I
in
think that was
together?
like a religion class of some sorts. You know how like so we went to
Was it
Catholic
senior
school
year or
for
junior year? Yeah.
context.
Yeah.
And it like as
Literally, what the fuck?
as you like went on, the religion classes got like way more chill and like way less
Yeah.
actual like
And more
religion
about like, hey, watch these
focused.
movies that are
Yeah, and
kind
way
of
more like,
wackadoo.
we know y'all want to graduate, just here's the thing now. But I feel like it was some
Yeah.
type
Trying to
of
think. Or it would have been
religion,
history.
cultural. Yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe history.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. I
Either
mean,
way.
clearly we got a lot out of what we took away from that project was chinchillas and massive mansion with a movie
Yeah.
theater in the
Yeah, the
basement. That's
chinchillas
what
and
we got out
Morgan
of
is
it.
rich as hell.
Yeah.
Was our
So cool.
takeaway.
Yeah.
And all the lessons from Hotel Rwanda also.
Yes, also
Yeah,
great
yeah,
movie
yes,
and yeah,
also that.
horrible time in history, all
Yeah,
that. Don Cheadle,
exactly.
great job in that. I think he won an Oscar. Anyway, cool. Let's go.
Well deserved.
So
Anyways,
cool.
more horrible times back in this room with Emil. I mean, not quite as horrible as, actual history,
As the
but
Hutus and the Tutsis, but
anyways,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
besides the actual genocide, whatever. Okay, anyways.
Whatever.
So Emil,
Goldfish.
goldfish. So we see, yes, Emil, the shitty ass kid, back in his room, being like, yeah, I'll flush these fucking chinchillas. I guess I gotta feed them now. And we literally see this motherfucker take like a loaf of bread with mold growing all over it. He tosses it on the back of his turtle, like on the shell, so the turtle can't reach it.
Oh, not the
And then,
turtle.
if you didn't already hate this kid enough, he
Yeah.
throws it on the ground just outside of the cage, just outside of the reach of his hamster slash gerbil.
Grace, you're literally name dropping all of my favorite animals. This is hard.
I
I can't.
know.
This is worse than Hotel Rwanda.
Yeah,
This
this
is
kid
my
fucking
pet genocide.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as a side note, let's just also pause here to talk about the MacDonald Triad, which, like, I think it's now a little bit more in debate of like whether it is actually true or not. But basically, it's like, yeah, the MacDonald Triad, basically, it's like a forensic psychology term in which it's
Yeah.
like, oh, if a child is showing these three tendencies,
They're a psycho.
yeah, you might want to watch out. They could be a serial killer or like
Yeah.
sociopath or psychopath. I
In the
totally
future.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, it was like held really strong for a really long time. And now I think it's, up to more debate because people are complicated.
Mhm.
But it includes like fire starting, bedwetting, animal cruelty. So,
Wow.
ding, ding, ding. I assume
He's
he's doing the
definitely,
other two things.
he's probably, yeah, he's definitely at least starting fires for sure.
Exactly. Yeah, to
Without a
like
doubt.
get rid of these animals.
Of the-
And if you thought that that was an exaggeration, perhaps, we see, so it zooms out from this house of horrors that Emil is creating
Mhm.
through kind of the family's backyard. And just behind the backyard is a big hill covered in headstones. And we see the names on the headstones like ping pong,
Oh
spot,
no.
boots. We see his mom burying presumably another animal because as she pats down the dirt and the mound, we see her put some pet toys on top.
Oh
And this is
God.
clearly a
A
cemetery, a
cemetery.
pet cemetery.
What's the name of this episode? Did you say what
You
it's called?
will. It's not called Pet Cemetery or
Oh,
Stephen
damn it.
King wrote
Okay.
this.
I was gonna say, okay, keep going. That's another rabbit hole. Rabbit hole.
Rabbit hole, yes.
All
But
right.
yes, these writers were clearly horror
Yes.
movie fans.
Yes, they are.
No, Pet
Love
Cemetery, a classic novel slash movie. Pretty sure it was a Stephen King book, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. Anyways, so the next day we cut to Emil, who did listen to his mom. He didn't just murder his guppy. And instead, he's putting up a sign at a pet store saying that he is selling the guppy. And we hear Moe's voiceover say, at least his pets weren't totally defenseless. Not when Ouija Falls' most dedicated animal rights activist was on the case. And we see Mimi storm into the pet store. Yep, this is a Mimi episode.
Cool.
And see Emil putting up this sign, and this bitch is that bitch, I would say.
Oh, is she
She
now?
starts fucking yelling at him, saying, you're getting rid of another pet. That's the sixth one this month. What
Mm,
is your problem?
yeah.
And she basically like takes him by
Laying
the
to me.
collar of his shirt and throws him out the pet store.
Damn. She's like,
Yeah,
I'm the
she's
captain
like,
now. Fuck out of here. This is my pet store.
yes, my pet store now. And we do see though the next day at school that Mimi was also like, I will buy this guppy from you because like you cannot be trusted with animals. While
Hmm.
I'm at it, I'm also going to buy your hamster slash gerbil from you. So we see this exchange at school at the exact same time while she's like getting the hamster slash gerbil and guppy. Emil also opens up his nasty ass gym bag and holds it out to Mo and says, "You want this turtle?" And Mimi is like, "Jesus fucking Christ, I will buy the turtle." Like,
You should put your turtle in a gym bag and bring
yeah,
it to school. Man, I
yep,
can't stand this kid.
yeah.
The
This
lion
kid,
kid last week is way better than this. At least he didn't
yeah,
harm animals. This is
exactly.
insane.
At least he was like, he wasn't actually doing harm to anyone. He was just
Yeah,
he,
he's just
he was
being an
helping out
asshole.
the kid in math class who didn't do their
Yeah, he
homework.
didn't do his homework.
Emil
Precisely.
is abusive to these animals,
Yeah.
neglectful and abusive.
Yes.
Um, so Mimi, yeah, is like, give me the fucking turtle and get out of here, you punk. And so he does, and Emil walks away. And Mo shakes his head, saying, Mimi, you're just feeding his habit because you know what he's going to do with that money you're giving him? He's just going to go buy more pets.
It's almost
And
like if you just give someone money over and over again, they'll just do whatever they want with it.
yep,
No
he'll
strings
just
attached.
continue the exact same behavior. Almost
Exactly.
like perhaps Mimi actually points out, perfect that you said that.
Hmm.
The type of human who might do that could be, maybe you could call him a pet junkie. And
Oh,
what's
oh, that's a kind way of
something
saying it.
she literally says, and what's one thing every addict needs? You know what Mo says? A career in Hollywood?
Oh, even funnier because a Hollywood actor is saying this.
Saying this.
Yeah.
And Mimi says, she doesn't acknowledge that because we know it's all true, but she
Yeah.
says, a supplier, and I'm going to
Mm.
cut him off at the source. So, like
Hmm.
you just said, I'm the captain
I'm
now.
the now. This is my pet store. Honestly, the pet store owner is probably going to be pissed because he's probably making a lot of money off of this kid and his family paying for all these pets. Like, I don't care what he does with them after he leaves my store.
And Alexis, you are
Uh-oh.
correct because money
Oh,
talks. And what
yes.
do we do to make change? We vote with our dollar here.
Hmm.
And so we see Mimi at the pet store going full on grassroots fucking organizer. Like I
Let's
said,
go.
that bitch.
She is
She
that
has
bitch.
tables out front with signs that have Emil's picture with an X through them outside of the pet
Oh,
store.
nice.
She is getting people to stop and sign her petition, which they are, that says, we will boycott this pet store unless they blacklist Emil from buying pets there.
Golly. Oh, man.
Golly gee.
So, this sounds, I watch too much news, but this sounds way too relevant right now. All
People
right.
power, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mimi's
We
gonna
are
grow up,
divesting from this
divest
pet
from Emil.
store. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
probably
they
gonna.
are giving, they are enabling at this pet store, and this is the only pet store in town. So this
Ooh,
business is gonna fucking tank. People are gonna
gonna
boycott
take a hit.
every ounce of it.
Yep. Yep.
And you know what? It's working. Emil goes
Good.
in there for yet another pet, and he has refused service. The pet store owner is open-minded. He listens to the people.
Mm.
He is a democratic pet store owner, and he
Good for
said,
him.
the people have spoken. Get the fuck out of
Yes.
here, kid.
You're not allowed back. Yeah.
Yep. So Emil storms out and starts yelling at Mimi, who basically tells him, like, the jig is up, Emil. Like, I got you, bitch. And so he is fuming and storms out of there. So at the end of the day, Mo and Hitch are helping Mimi clean up. off their victorious campaign, probably going to go celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
And after this good day of civic action, they're all walking home carrying Mimi's protesting gear when they turn a corner and run straight into Emil,
Mm.
who is now holding this very large, ornate gold cage with this crazy looking bird in it.
Oh.
This bird is like a quail chicken hybrid. Hear
Ah,
me out. Yes, it is
okay. I
jacked
don't
up
wanna.
looking. I don't want. Let me just take out my headphones while you
You said
describe this.
enough.
No, really, say less, please.
Yeah.
It has this like brown body with like this wispy long, two feathered tail. It has a super long, like black and white striped head. It has a single feather coming out the top of it, and it has bright red eyes.
Uh, Demon.
They love them in this town.
Yeah.
And Hitch reaches for it to be like, let me pet your new pet. And it immediately bites Hitch's finger, and we see it like immediately swell up and start throbbing.
Mm.
And Emil tosses basically his hair, if he had long hair, and says, This, this is my Malaysian biting tree finch.
Oh.
And Mimi is so stunned that like she is speechless. Like you see her rage boiling, but Emil smartly dips out of there with this Malaysian biting tree finch before the reign
He's
of
like,
terror can come down on him.
I will have the last word here.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
exactly. So the trio of our pals here go to Momo's house to do some research on a couple things. First of all, one, they look up, did a new pet store open in town? Because there was only
Yeah.
one in Ouija Falls,
Where did he
and
get this thing?
no trace of any other pet store. And even more so, granted, this is still kind of early days. This is like 2002 of Google and the internet and search engines being what they are now, not even close. And
Mm-hmm.
they notice that they can't really find information about a Malaysian biting tree finch.
Yeah, like, is this
Doesn't seem
thing
to be a
real?
common, animal of any sorts.
Mhm.
And so at this, Mimi is like, Emil found a pet smuggling black market ring.
That would be my
This,
first thought. Like, yeah, of course, he got it on the black market, this freshman in
yep,
high school.
this freshman, I mean, he's clearly an evil kid.
Yeah,
You
this is
don't know
true.
what he's capable of.
He got it off of the Silk Road, silkroad.com or
Exactly.
whatever. I think that's how it's.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is the early days of the dark
Yeah, it was
web
open then.
too. Could be where he got it from. So yeah, Mimi, yes, like we said, full of rage at this point. She is
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm not only gonna take this kid down, I'm gonna take down this pet smuggling ring.
He's like, we're taking down the whole black market. That's
Yeah, Mimi's like,
wild.
it goes straight to the fucking top.
Yeah. She's like, I
And
don't give
that's
a
where I'm
fuck about the
headed.
middleman.
Exactly.
Cut out the
Emil is a
middleman. No
pawn.
thanks. We're only gonna leave the middleman. Yeah.
If he's lucky. The Malaysian tree biting finch is the middleman, and he's only spared because he's an animal.
Exactly. That's her line.
Yeah, exactly. So they go to basically trail Emil to see if they can figure out where this smuggling black market ring is. And we see him leaving his house on a skateboard. So Mo, Hitch, and Mimi, like any good gang of early 2000 kids, hop on their rollerblades and skateboards too.
Nice.
It's
Nice.
amazing. It made me want to go rollerblade so badly.
Mhm.
They're communicating via walkie-talkie as they trail him through the neighborhoods, through the town, out onto a trail into a swamp, which I think is just what this town is surrounded by. I'm
It's
noticing.
sounding
Like,
like it.
again,
Everything is
super
a
fun
swamp.
sight. Swamp. Yes.
It's all coming together.
Yep, exactly. So they follow him down one of these paths that lead out of town into one of the swamps, where there is like a small brick building, almost like a boathouse,
Mm.
out on one of the docks. So they peek through the window into this boathouse situation. And it's, a single room building, and it is full of cages, but the vast majority of them are empty. And there's a desk in there, though, a single table, and behind it is a very old man who has these really thick, like arched eyebrows. He's bald, but kind of has a small square hat that I'm pretty sure has a name, and I just didn't look it up.
Hmm.
And a very long, thin, dangling gray mustache that kind of goes down to his chest.
Mm.
He's got some like, little sunspots going on and these like kind of gross, scaly looking lips. And
Mhm.
on the other side of the desk, we see Emil, who is asking this old man and saying, "Well, Mr. Pong, what do you have for me today?" And
Mm.
we see this old man, Mr. Pong, put a cage on the desk that does have an animal in it. And he says, "This is a very exotic and rare. This is the Mulvarian Rex hamster."
All right.
Essentially,
You go
it's like
on.
a white hamster with gray spots that's kind of like the size of a pygmy pig.
Um,
And
so okay.
no, yeah, it's just like a giant hamster, essentially.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Okay.
like maybe has some sharp teeth, but like kind of cute, to be honest. They're
Okay.
pretty precious.
Yeah.
I'd be interested
I
in
can
this one.
find it. At first, I was thinking it's like a hybrid with a dinosaur or something
Yeah,
based on the
no,
name
it's
of
just like
it.
very
Just a big
fluffy.
hamster. Okay.
Yeah, yes, very,
Okay.
very fluffy hamster.
Nice.
But Mimi, of course, seeing all this happen, she cannot take it. She is not going to call the authorities. She is the authorities. So
I
she
am the law.
kicks down the front door.
We've got some vigilante justice here,
Oh,
finally.
oh yes,
No.
she's going full PETA vigilante justice on
Yeah,
this.
no. Uh,
She, Mo, and Hitch bust down the door, and she is screaming, "The jig is up!" Once again.
mhm.
She goes up to the desks and slams her fist down, saying that they are busted, and also
Mm.
telling the old man he is selling to a neglectful pet owner. And Mr. Pong, well, yeah, among the various crimes happening, she's like, and
Yeah.
also,
He
this
doesn't even
kid
care about these
sucks.
animals,
Yeah.
which, yeah, Mr. Pong's probably like counting his money, like, okay. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The next
Plug for
line,
our YouTube channel, everybody. Grace made a funny face.
the next line is Mr. Pong smiles at Mimi, then turns to Emil and says, "Cash only."
I know how the black market operates, okay?
Save
Why do
those
you think I'm
receipts,
wearing this
cash
black shirt
only.
today? I knew we'd talk about black market shit.
That's why you were concerned when we started talking about it.
And I was like, well, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I gotta
Uh-oh.
keep quiet. I don't want to give myself away. Silk Road? I mean, what? No, I've
What?
never heard of
Silkroad.com
that
never heard
website.
that. You're like a 10-year-old
I know, yeah, when I was
on the
like 10,
black
12 years
market
old.
when that website was around.
I swear I only heard about it from my older siblings. What?
Wow, blame them. Throw them
Yeah, I
under the
know.
bus.
Hey, I can throw
Damn.
them under the bus. And, hey.
So, Emil, of course, pays up the cash, grabs the hamster cage, smiling victoriously at Mimi again, and a shit-eating grin, and
Mm,
skates out of there.
mm, mm, mm.
But while this is happening, Mo and Hitch are, of course, poking around, looking for some more evidence, and they're kind of talking to each other. They're like, how this simply can't be a successful business. Like, even for the black market, there's like one other pet in here. Like
Yeah.
this is all just empty cages. And it's not like because he sold all these other animals. They're just sitting around.
Yeah.
The one that they look at where Hitch is like, the fuck is this thing? It's like some weird reptile that's like a puke green color, some kind of like iguana snake situation.
Ugh.
But like, yeah, these are not normal looking animals. And yeah, Hitch and Mo are like, this seems,
Sums up.
yeah, extra
Yeah.
strange, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, and at the desk, Mimi is, of course, but she's off her rocker now. She is screaming at Mr. Pong,
Poor Mr.
screaming at
Pong.
Emil as he leaves. Literally, Mo and Hitch are holding her back. They like leave the iguana snake and are like grabbing either of her arms. And she gets even more mad when she says, like, I will buy the rest of your stock. I will buy the rest of your animals. And the old man, we see there's another pet, and he says, no,
Oh.
not going to let you buy these. And Mimi's like, excuse me, I will pay cold hard cash. I will double, I will triple what you're selling them for. And he says, you're not the right kind of customer. No
Oh.
sale.
AKA, you're a narc. You're gonna trace them back to me. You just threatened to shut my business down.
Yes.
Why would I sell you something that you can then trace back to? Like, if anything, I'm gonna kill you before you leave here.
Yeah, you know way too much.
Yeah.
And he literally says, we're closed now, goodbye. And Mimi's last words are literally, I'm gonna shut you and this whole place down.
She's gonna do it either way. So he's like, I might as well
Yeah.
not give it to her because either way, she's gonna report me.
Right. Like either way, I need to close up shop and
Yeah,
GTFO to somewhere else.
exactly.
Like,
I need to buy a plane ticket yesterday.
yeah, I'm leaving this animal here. I clearly don't care about them.
Yeah.
So they return to Mo's house so Mimi can cool off a little bit. She was literally about to burn this place down, save the animals,
With
set
the
it on
animals.
fire.
Okay.
But human life, Mimi doesn't care
Yeah,
about that.
no,
Mr.
okay,
Pong,
right.
gone.
Uh,
So at Mo's house again, they do start looking up this crazy hamster. They can't find any trace of it. And I didn't write this part down, but the fact that you just said she's a narc, Mimi says, I've called every authority and government agency, and no one will believe me that this is happening because they think I made up these animals. So yeah.
Absolute narc. It's like the
Yeah.
local authorities wasn't enough. She called like the
She literally was like
EPA,
federal
the Department
agencies.
of Interior, the
Yeah, like
FBI. Yeah.
probably would say like FBI, international trade and
Yeah,
smuggling, poachers, all that kind of shit.
exactly.
Which, for an international, a black market smuggling, pet smuggling ring, I get it. That's
Like,
fine.
yeah,
You can
she's
tell
she's
on that.
absolutely doing the right thing, but
Yes,
it's
but it
never
is
a
funny.
bad time to make fun of a narc. Yeah, it's like you're still a
Exactly.
narc though. Like, I'm glad you
You're
did the
still a
right thing, but I'm still
narc.
gonna make fun of you. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very funny. Again, I didn't write that down, but I was like, oh wait, she literally
She is.
is.
Yeah.
It's like her next action. So they're like, at this point, again, this is where Mimi turns from being narc to being full vigilante because
Uh-oh. Yeah.
they go back to the shed, like the
Mm.
boathouse thing, to take matters into her own hands. And we see it's like that same night that Emil has gone back and he is buying that like iguana
Where's this
lizard
kid getting all
snake
this money from? My
from
God.
selling the other animals.
Oh yeah.
This is
Oh
Mimi's
God.
money
Yeah.
from the guppy. She's directly implicated in this now. That's why she's so invested.
That's why she needs divestment. She needs to make sure that her dollars aren't
nothing
going to support
going
these
to it.
crimes.
Yeah, Mo's like, I told you so. And Mimi is racked with guilt. So that's why she's extra
Yeah.
invested.
Got it. Got it.
And at this point, yeah, Momo is like, this old man knows Emil sucks. Like, why is he doing this? But you're right, cold hard cash.
Mhm.
It's an international language, if you will.
Exactly.
And Mimi is basically like, fuck them. We're going to go free all these animals from Emil's house.
Yeah.
So,
Oh
again,
God. Oh no.
vigilante time.
I feel bad for his parents. They're about to have like a zoo unleashed in their house. Anyway.
Well, first step of this plan. Hitch shows up at Emil's house dressed like, you guessed it, a pizza delivery man.
Of course.
I actually kind of am assuming at this point that this is Hitch's like part-time job. He's
Actual
like,
job. Yeah.
he like is kind of like a skater stoner character. So it just
Mhm.
like makes sense. He's got the uniform and everything.
Yeah. Is
And
he still wearing his
Emil,
3D glasses?
yes,
Okay,
of
good.
course.
Yep. Yeah, this is his job.
Yeah, exactly. He
Yeah.
skated over there on his skateboard. Yeah, like 100%. So we see Emil's mom open the door. Hitch is like, someone called in a pizza, and she's like, well, I didn't, and like Emil is gone. So like I don't
Mm.
know what's happening here. And of course, they get into a little back and forth, which gives Mo and Mimi, overhearing that Emil is gone, the chance to enter and break into Emil's room through his
Hmm.
window. It's a first floor
Great.
window.
Oh, good. Okay. Good.
Yes. And they see that, like, again, his room is disgusting. And even worse, they don't see any like food or water out for the pets. They're clearly being neglected. We see that like the finch, the hamster, and the iguana, which is just what I'm going to call the iguana, the
Yeah,
reptile
the
at this
thing.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all shoved into cages that are also too small for them.
Mm.
But Mo and Mimi brought their own cages. So we see
Good.
them open up the tiny cages, grab the animals, and not toss them, nicely put them
I
into.
mean, still tossing them would be nicer than what they've experienced at this
Exactly.
House of Horrors, as you described. Yeah.
They're probably actually jumping in. It looks like a toss, but the animals
They're
are
like
like,
launching themselves.
yeah,
Please
get out
get
of
us out of
here.
here.
Um, but it's interesting because Mo, who's picking up the hamster, who I have to say is so fucking cute. Like Mo like holds it up for a second and it's just got like, it's a little chubby and got like big old eyes, and it's adorable. It's not
They
some
are.
dinosaur monster.
They're little angels sent from above.
Exactly. And Mo is surprised because he's like, I mean, it seems like this, like these animals are, I mean, clearly not being taken care of, but like this hamster, one, has gotten bigger, but two, like it is so fluffy and has like luscious, healthy fur. And
Like
they're
it seems like
like,
it's in good shape,
yeah. And so they're
given all the
like,
neglect. Hmm.
exactly. They're like, this is weird, but like, we don't have a lot of time. So like, let's go. We
Yeah.
can admire his beautiful fur later.
We are literally committing like 4 crimes right now, so we need to keep it moving.
We gotta keep this moving.
Yeah.
Momo, let's go. Let's go,
Let's go,
Momo.
go.
Move it. So they take the animals. Of course, they cover up the cages to try and hide some of their crimes. They put, like little sheets over them and jump
Mhm.
out the windows just as Emil gets home. So they
Mhm.
gather just in time. Hitch, obviously seeing Emil gets home, just like leaves the pizza with his mom and bolts to the next yard where they're all meeting up, kind of just like behind the fence of the next house. So they can all catch their breath. And Mimi and Mo, as they're doing that, Hitch is like, well, let me see these weird ass animals. Like, you guys said that like they grew and stuff. Like, let me see them. And so they pull the little sheets off of the cages, and the creatures are all gone. And just then
What
they
the
see the
fuck?
light flick on in Emil's room, and all of the creatures are back in their cages.
What? Oh, this is like some Twilight Zone shit. You've entered a world beyond your. Sorry.
It basically is the inspiration for
Pretty
this
much
show.
is, yes. Very
So
much.
yes, similarly, Mimi is like, what the heck is wrong with these animals? Like they returned to Emil's room. How did they get back there? Did they willingly do this?
Yeah.
Like it's like they have a death wish being there. And of course, Mo hears his favorite word, death,
Death.
and
Not
lights
wish.
up.
Death.
The opposite, in fact, of a wish. Death.
Death.
And Hitch is like, does this mean a trip to the boneyard? And Mo, of course, is like, yep, but not to the town cemetery. And of course, we
Mhm.
see them look up at the hill right behind Emil's family's home. And of course, they go on to the pet cemetery.
Mhm. Of
And
course.
of course, like all pet cemeteries in such a world, such a environment, such a
Mhm.
setting,
Mhm.
we see
Such a
all of the
super
graves are
fun
dug up.
sight.
Yeah, such
Oh,
a super
great.
fun sight. Yes.
Oh no.
Beneath most headstones, they are fully dug up, and there are no bones or coffins or anything in these dug up graves anymore.
Hmm.
And yes,
Okay.
they start hearing some growling. They start hearing some rustling in the bushes. But unlike other horror movies where people are dumb, these three are like, goodbye,
Yeah,
and
okay, good.
fucking
Wow.
book it
Yeah, they're like, we're not
out of
sticking around
there.
to see what that is.
Yep,
Mhm.
they're like, this seems like a not our problem right now.
Yeah.
So they flee, and as they're fleeing, or I guess not as they're fleeing, but once they kind of get safe, they're reviewing everything that just happened. And Mimi is like, points out kind of what you said is like, these animals are thriving on the neglect. And again, went back to it, and it doesn't seem natural. And of course, Mo says, of course not. It's supernatural.
Yes.
A favorite Mo line we're
Yes.
learning here.
Did he do some eyebrows as he said it?
Oh, they
You know,
practically flew
Mo
off his
loves the
face.
eyebrows.
That
Mimi had
eyebrow
to grab
raise
him and put him back on.
back on.
Cool.
So we cut to Emil's room that night, with all three animals, yes, back in their cages, and they're just staring at him, which animals do because they want your love and
Yeah,
attention. They just stare
exactly.
at you.
What you doing, human?
Yeah,
Hold
include
me, please.
me.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
Emil, the horrible kid that he is like, ugh, stop staring at me. Like, what do you want? Which again, they probably want food and water, bro.
Yeah.
So instead of caring for
Why won't
them,
you talk to me, animals? I can't read your
what
minds.
could you possibly need? Damn. So he instead just decides to turn off the lights and go to bed. But as he flicks off the lights, it doesn't quite get dark in his room, because the eyes of all three of these animals are glowing bright red,
I knew
because
you
of
were gonna say
course they are.
that. Yes, because of course they are.
But Emil, instead of being like, that's new, he's just like, ugh,
Again?
so needy. And he puts the sheet over his head to basically go back to sleep. But
Mm,
he wakes
mm.
up because he hears the little squeaking of a cage door opening up. And he, pokes his head out from under the covers to see at the end of his bed three enormous shadows in the shape of the animals with glaring, glowing red eyes. And of course, smartly, again, these kids live in a horror town. He knows to scream
Yeah.
and jump and turn on the lights right away. He just
Yes.
doesn't try and mess with them. And when he turns the lights back on, the animals are just in their cages, just
Oh man, this is some
staring at
psychological
him.
shit going on now. Oh
This is where
boy.
things start to take a turn.
They another turn. This
Yeah,
is not the first turn.
this is for the part of the
This
episode
is a
where
much
small
sharper
Grace
turn.
would continue to be scared, but in a different way now.
Grace just went from, oh, he's torturing the animals to, holy fuck, these animals are about to kill him. Grace is
So,
actually rooting for the young Grace is rooting
yeah,
for the animals.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm crying of joy, not sadness
Yeah.
in this episode.
You're not afraid anymore, actually.
Yeah, I'm feeling
You're finding a
emboldened,
sense of
in fact.
calm. Yeah.
Yeah, feel zen right now.
Yeah.
And of course, he's like, okay, that was weird. Whatever. I'm just gonna go back to bed.
Crazy, right?
That was weird. So he turns the lights out again and cuddles back into his bed. And of course, moments after he closes his eyes, he not only hears the creaking again, but hears like rustling and like, kind of the bed springs on his bed. And this time he rips those covers off, ready to jump out and turn the lights back on. And now we see, though, not just the shadows of these animals, but we fully see these three animals who have grown like 10 times their normal size,
Mm.
growling at the end of his bed, and now they are chasing him.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. This are no
Great.
longer shadows, but
And so just a reminder, one of them is this weird exotic bird.
Uh-huh.
One of them is the reptile, weird exotic reptile, and the other is
Yep.
this weird exotic hamster. So you've
Yep.
got a bird, a reptile, and like a mammal, all
Yes.
okay.
All with very
Awesome.
sharp teeth now. Still
Yes.
glowing red
So
eyes.
he is
Um,
screwed by land, by air, by
by
sea,
desert.
maybe, depending on what kind of reptile. I don't know. Was it a
Yeah,
snake?
true.
Was it a or water? I don't know.
We don't know, but
Great.
probably by sea, at least partially.
By at least somewhat, some sort of water. By
Yeah.
lake, maybe.
Yes, exactly.
uh,
So, yeah,
he
he
deserves
starts
it though.
sprinting out of his room, rightly so,
Hmm.
and they chase him out of the house into the backyard, driving him up the hill, right into the cemetery.
Oh
The
no.
very same, yes, pet cemetery.
Yes.
And as soon as Emil enters the cemetery, the headstones start growing taller and taller until they tower over him. Every corner he tries to turn, another one juts out of the ground even higher up, blocking his way as he runs into them. And
Mm.
from the ground, some of the graves were still undisturbed, but we see the zombie limbs of animals start shooting out from their
Ah.
graves,
Oh no. Oh my God.
grabbing at him. We
Ah.
see like a webbed, like zombie green toad, like reach its webbed foot out and grab Emil's ankle as it like shoots its tongue in the air at Emil's head, and he's
Mm.
just able to like tuck and roll and dodge it.
Good God.
So we get a little montage now of Emil sprinting. We got some jungle music happening, which was
Mm.
honestly perfect. But
Yeah.
more and more animal zombies with glowing red eyes and sharp teeth. Again, we've got like toads. We've got a rabbit who has
Things that shouldn't
glowing
have sharp teeth. A
eyes.
toad. Mm.
Exactly. Start sprinting after him. And he runs down the hill and is able to run into his house. But now his house is pitch black, except for the windows, which are both glowing red
Oh,
and
Jesus.
being populated now with new and old zombie animals all bursting into the house to try basically and kill him,
Kill him.
we
Yeah.
can presume.
Assume. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
so he
God.
starts running again. And this is where it goes, I would say, from bad night to bad trip, worst night, worst nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Because the ground beneath him that he is running on suddenly turns again, it's still red sky, but it turns from, like the wood floors of his house to like it's like a checkered floor that like looks
Mm.
curved, so no matter how far you're running,
Oh,
like
it's
it
like an
never
optical
seems to
illusion.
end.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
optical illusion, with all of the animals like frothing at the mouth now and
Oh,
chasing him.
oh my
And
God.
there's a single door in the distance that never seems to get closer, no matter how hard he's running, until finally he throws himself at it and rips it open, throwing himself through the door, slamming it behind him. But it's not another room on the other side. Oh no. Alexis, it is a giant habit trail.
Ah, yay! Oh, what do you need to know about habit trails? I have a few facts memorized.
Yeah, that's Alexa's favorite thing. Environments for hamsters and gerbils. And he immediately slides down into it because he threw himself through this door and ends up in a giant hamster wheel in a
Yes.
hamster cage
Mm,
with all of the animals looking down upon him, growling, getting closer and closer and closer. And
mm.
Emil screams and wakes up in his bed.
Ah, mm.
Of course, it was a horrible nightmare.
Yeah.
He immediately turns the
Makes
lights
sense now.
on, turns to the three animals who are all just in their cages still. They
Normal.
didn't
Sleeping.
turn into giant animals, raising the
Okay.
dead, trying to
They
kill
don't
him.
have red eyes, sharp fangs.
No, they're just chilling.
Okay.
So at this point, Emil, kind of similar to your last episode, was like, perhaps some lessons have been learned.
Mm-hmm.
So He grabs all three cages and, of course, the animals and returns to the little brick boathouse where the old man, Mr. Pong, is still there, seemingly waiting for Emil. And Emil puts all of the cages on the desk and starts begging the old man to take them back.
Yeah.
Mr. Pong is shaking his head, saying, "No return, sorry." And Emil is like, I don't even want my money back. Like,
I don't
just
want
get these
money. I don't want an
animals.
exchange. I don't
Yeah,
want a
I want store
refund.
credit.
Just yeah, I don't need a gift card.
I
Just
just want
take
them
it, please.
out of
Yeah.
my house, please. And at this point, Mr. Pong has turned his back on Emil, just being like, no return, sorry, get out of my store. And as Emil, again on the other side of the desk and towards or facing Mr. Pong's back, we see him begging and pleading. And we see a little fly buzz into the screen. And we see Mr. Pong's tongue shoot out and eat the fly. And at this,
Oh,
Emil starts backing away from the desk, saying, what's going on here?
what
And
are
the
you,
old
sir?
man starts to smile and say, "Oh, you don't remember me, Emil?" And Emil starts to back away more. He's never told the old man his name.
Yeah.
And the
Oh.
old man turns around and says, "The first name is Ping.
Ah.
Ping Pong." And
Yes.
we see him hold his own headstone
Oh,
of Ping
that's
Pong that we saw at the
crazy.
beginning.
Yeah.
And he is screaming, "Now you remember me, Emil?"
Oh my God. Oh,
And
it just
Emil
okay.
starts to try and run out, but all of the doors and windows are locked. And
Mm.
Emil is screaming, like, "Yes, I flushed you down the toilet when I was 5. You were just my toad." And Mr. Pong starts laughing as his face, those nasty, scaly lips, start turning green. His
Mm.
face starts turning more and more toad-like. Like one of his eyes turns into like a toad eye. The other one
Yeah.
is still his human eye.
Ooh.
Mr. Ping Pong says yes. And it's too bad I remember. Too bad for you. And we
Oh.
see Mr. Pong, just their shadows now, grow bigger above Emil as we zoom out of the boathouse just to hear Emil's screaming.
Mm.
The
The end?
next day,
Oh, okay. Ooh, well, good. Okay, at least it doesn't end
Mimi,
there.
Mo, and Hitch go back to the shed to shut it down. Of course, Mimi is
Well,
still on the case,
yeah,
if you
she's
will.
still narking it up.
But it's empty in there. There's no
Hmm.
desk, there are no cages, but actually, no, there's one cage. Off in the corner, there's a single cage with this purplish blue, mangy looking rat with a long, protruding snout region, if
Region,
you will,
territory.
territory, tri state area. And that's the end.
You don't even need to finish it. We know who it is. Great job. Amazing.
Thank
Wow.
you.
That was amazing. I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
that that ending was the way it was because I was
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
keep in my mind a few notes to bring up at the end. Like one, how weird is it that Mr. Pong is like Pong when you said ping pong was one of the names? Like in my brain, I thought, man, I wonder if there's any relation to ping pong. But I was like
Yep, because it was
jokingly
him.
thinking, yeah, there's a very strong relation. And then
Hmm.
also I was like, well, is Mr. Pong getting these animals from the pet cemetery? I was starting to wonder. All right, so yeah,
Basically, yep.
so all my wild speculation is no longer wild. It's just what
It's
happened in
just the
the
episode.
episode. So
It's just the
cool. That's
plot.
all I've got to say. Good job.
Yep.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank
How
you. It
fucked
was a
up. I guess the
wild.
only other thing I'll say is that I'm definitely watching Pet Cemetery again tonight. So thank you.
Exactly. Yeah, again, no, it was kind of zombies being brought back to life, but
Yeah, I mean, there was in
by
a way
another zombie.
Yes,
kind of
they
thing.
couldn't. I don't think they could take this children's show quite to where Pet
Yeah,
Cemetery
they
would.
couldn't, bring children
Like,
back.
yeah, I was like, I
But
don't think they could show a
instead,
child being smashed by a truck
a
and
truck,
then,
yeah.
yeah,
But instead,
all
they did
that.
do the
So
opposite of instead of bringing a child back,
they
they
killed the
destroyed a
child,
child
or
and
yeah.
made him into a rat in a cage.
Yeah,
Yes.
fair, fair. So
Yes.
listen up, kids. This is what happens when you flush your living animals down toilets.
Exactly.
I don't do
Yeah,
that.
so it
Yeah.
was really a story of revenge. And the title was The Pet Shop of No Return, which is
Oh,
a
nice. Very
title as
good.
well.
Little Shop of
Um,
Horrors, Pet Shop of Horrors,
yeah,
Pet Shop of
precisely.
No. I love it. I love it.
So, yeah,
Great job.
thank you.
Wow.
Yes,
That's
again, a little bit of an escalation of now the villain of the episode really gets their comeuppance, I would say,
He
in
does.
a
Yeah. This was great.
very real way.
It very much had like Goosebumps vibes where
Yes,
the kids in those shows actually got super like fucked up and
fucked
harmed
up.
and often got like trapped in like books and the
Exactly.
bodies of dolls and shit like that. And
Yep.
this very much reads like that, which is
Yes.
as a let's see, 2002, as an
Yeah.
almost 10-year-old, if we were watching this show, we
Yep.
probably would have had nightmares that night. So
Exactly.
thank you,
So,
Moville Mysteries. I'm glad we learned about this show in our 30s rather
God.
than
Yeah,
in our
again,
childhood years.
traumatized again, both from the actual animal abuse and then just like the scary trip scene.
Yeah,
But again, also
which
being like, you go animals.
yeah, good for you. Good. This is
Yeah,
the revenge we like to see in the
exactly. Yeah, I was
world.
kind of here for it.
Um, yeah, this show has, so we're 3 episodes in now, and every single one of them has these really crazy, like psychological torture, terror,
Yes.
tripping scenes where like
Yes.
the writers must have really watched like Nightmare on Elm Street or something crazy,
Yeah.
something, because it's literally every single episode has this moment of like, yeah,
Is
the
this
the endless
real?
floor. Is this real?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
The
like
like, yeah,
floating through the
internal
black
torture.
nothingness. Exactly.
Yes. And I
Um,
love it.
I love it. I'm here for
I'm
it.
obsessed with this show
Yeah.
now.
Honestly, like kids need to watch this show nowadays so that they
Yeah.
stop acting out. This is the problem with America today.
They don't
Kids
have
aren't
enough
being
scary
scared enough.
shows. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, precisely.
Great.
So, yes, between now and next week, when we're back with another episode from you from this incredible show, who should our listeners and viewers tell about this podcast?
I don't think we've done this before. We've maybe done something close to it because we talk about animals a lot, but you should tell a pet shop owner or
Oh,
like employee. I feel like we've done
nice.
something adjacent to that, or
I think
maybe
we've done
that,
like
but
zookeepers.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah. So tell a
yeah,
pet shop owner. Yeah. And
cool.
hopefully they aren't anything like the ones in these episodes who
Yeah,
knowingly sell pets to horrible people. Yeah.
exactly. Unless they're actually a dead pet zombie seeking revenge on that horrible
True.
person, then like that's totally
Then
fine.
go for it.
Then
Yes.
do your
Who should they
thing.
tell? Yeah.
I think after that, you should tell an animal rights activist.
Yeah.
Be
Good.
like, isn't this your dream? That like
Yeah.
revenge would be sought. I mean, we saw the orcas last year. It's happening.
It's
Nature is
happening.
healing
Yeah. Finally.
with
Finally.
revenge.
Yeah, orcas, they're telling all the other sea creatures too, like
Yeah,
this is
what
how
to
you
do.
do it. This is how we strike
Yeah,
back.
watch
Yeah.
us. And then we'll
Great.
see y'all next week.
Yeah. Until then,
Bye.
bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on. So just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.